Oh, welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Erin James, a channel that brings you your team every single day, guys, regardless of the day, regardless of the time. We bring you all the latest Rangers news here at Glasgow Rangers Nation. And remember, we are a free Rangers news channel. We don't charge you for any of the content. We don't hide our content behind paywalls. All you've got to do is smash the sub, ring the notification bell, watch the content. If you do want to pay a little bit of money, become a member. 99p supports the channel, less than a cup of McDonald's coffee. Right, and other coffees are of course available. Right, so let's talk a little bit of Connor Barron. Now, I think we can all agree on one fact. Well, I'll rephrase that. I think 99% of us can agree on one fact, and that is that Connor Barron has been one of Rangers' best players this season since joining on a free transfer from Aberdeen in the summer. Now, one of the things that sort of hung over the Connor Barron deal has been this tribunal fee because of the fact that Rangers and Aberdeen could not agree on a compensation package. Now, the reports at the time were that Rangers offered somewhere in the region of £525,000 to £550,000 to Aberdeen for Barron, which was in line with what clubs from south of the border or Europe would have had to pay for the services of the player who'd been at Aberdeen since he was 8 years old. However, Aberdeen turned down said fee, stating that it was not enough for the player. Which, look, as much as you may dislike Aberdeen, as much as we all dislike Aberdeen, I think, and we hold them in contempt. But at the end of the day, if you train an asset, if you train a player and you bring him up since the age of 8 and then he moves on for nothing, well, effectively nothing, you want to obviously get as maximum amount of money as you can for him. I mean, let's face it, Rangers would do the same if we had a player that come through our academy and one of the English clubs down south had taken him and we'd had him since 8. We'd want a big fee for him. We'd want a substantial amount of cash for him. And that's understandable. It's understandable. So obviously the situation needed to go to an SPFL tribunal. We are now currently in December, and the Barron move obviously happened right at the start of the summer. So we're still sort of 5-6 months down the line from that transfer, and still no fee has been set, no tribunal date has been set, and nothing has happened. Barron is obviously on a 4-year contract with Rangers, and Rangers will have to honour the tribunal fee, whatever that tribunal fee turns out to be. We obviously hope that the tribunal is fair. But, it is just quite incredible that this is still dragging on and this is still has not been settled yet. I mean, the situation is such that, you're trying to obviously do financial planning for January. You're trying to look at financial planning for the long term for the club. And, you're probably going to end up paying somewhere in the region of, I would say, £500,000 to £750,000 in tribunal fee for Barron. So, that's obviously money that's going to come out of the transfer budget, money that's going to come out of the January transfer kitty, if there is a January transfer kitty, of course. I'm sure that they'll have had a whip round at the AGM, and I'm sure that they've been down the back of the sofa in the iBox boardroom, and they've been down the back of the chairs in the executive areas of the ground. I'm sure that's probably happened. Might find the odd 20p here, 50p there. You never know. Raise a bit of cash. So look. Or we could, I suppose, we could do at Ibrox what the Catholics do on a Sunday and send the begging bowl round about 3 or 4 times. They love to do a bit of the begging bowl going around 3 or 4 times, don't they? That's probably how they raise most of their money. But there we go. So look, at the end of the day, we do need to obviously look at this in terms of the amount of time this has dragged on is absolutely ludicrous. Now, Aberdeen's chief executive spoke about this at their AGM yesterday. So speaking after Aberdeen's AGM, Chief Executive Alan Burrows has said that the wait for compensation from Rangers Connor Barron has dragged on too long. This is according to PLZ Soccer. A 22-year-old joined Rangers in the summer following the expiry of his contract, having failed to agree a development fee. The matter is being handled by an SPFL tribunal, which is absolutely 100% dragging on. Further to that, both clubs are sort of hampered by the rules and regs of the tribunal. They can't talk too much about it pre-tribunal. But, speaking after the Aberdeen general meeting, the chief executive did say this. He said, the situation has dragged on too long, in my opinion. I'm happy to say that. When pressed on the likely tribunal date, Burrows continued, "All I can say is that I hope it won't be too much longer." I think that this should be a catalyst for us to have a better process when it comes to players who go out of contract and move on to another club within the same league, who can't then come to an agreement on what the value should be on the cost recovery. It has been a long process. It has been a time-consuming process. It is something that has taken up a lot of management's and staff hours and money trying to get the best point where we are. I think at the end of the day, look, as much as I hate Aberdeen and I despise everything about them, you've got to kind of agree with what Burrows is saying in terms of this process needs to be more rationalised and it needs to be slimmed down. It needs to become a lot more efficient. The fact that from the Rangers aspect that this is still hanging over our heads and this is still a situation where we're having to, look at perhaps budgeting up to £750,000 for a player that, effectively signed for nothing in the summer. This is a deal that, could have been concluded long ago. Again, it's a situation where money can be brought out of January's transfer budget, like I said, if there is one. But, it is a pretty shocking situation from the league that they can't sort this out, that they can't get this done quicker and with more efficiency. And, really does not put Scotland in the best of lights when it comes to how the game is run in this country. The SPFL certainly have an awful lot to answer for. I think both clubs as well have a lot to answer for in this situation too. You look at the whole the situation with Aberdeen probably being far too greedy, wanting far too much money. Obviously, probably putting onto that Rangers tax. We know that clubs in Scotland have two transfer fees when it comes to the old firm. They have a cheaper transfer fee for Celtic and a more expensive transfer fee for Rangers, given the fact that all the clubs hate us. We don't care. I think, as well as that, there may also be an element of the fact that our board couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery, and probably, are probably, I don't know, haggling over a tenner, probably, knowing our board, they're probably haggling over £10 because Graham Park spent it on a McDonald's last night or something. I don't know, something like that. It could be anything, but I think the whole process is just a farce and it needs to be sorted out, and we need to know sooner rather than later what Barron is exactly going to cost us. Look, I mean, even if he costs up to £750,000, £800,000, I don't think that's unreasonable for a player that's probably going to be sold on for 10, 15 million a long way down the line. I suppose one positive will be that the tribunal fee will be set. Once the tribunal fee is paid, then Aberdeen will have no recourse to any further monies that come in on Barron. I very much doubt that Rangers will obviously give them any sell-on fee or etc. Well, I say doubt. Rangers should not be saying to Aberdeen, we'll give you this X amount of money and a 10% sell-on. We certainly shouldn't be benefiting or helping Aberdeen in any way, shape or form. Guys, let me know what you think about this saga and how it is dragging on as per usual. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, on the way out, you can smash the like, sub to the channel and do all that great stuff. It would be fabulous. Thanks for watching. Always remember, please never forget.